Good evening, everyone. Welcome back to another new issue today. And let's discuss something very important from the election point of view, which made news today and yesterday. And that's about the RVM by the Election Commission of India. I'm sure you must have heard about the RVM. It's nothing but the remote electronic voting machine. So the Election Commission of India has come out with its new idea for increasing the voter participation, and that's about the electronic remote voting machine. So the Election Commission of India has brought this machine out in collaboration with the Electronics Corporation of India, which is a central government PSU, and this with the intention to help the internal migrants. Now we know in India there are many people who move from one state to another with regard to education, jobs, marriage, holidays, etc. So these people who travel from their native place to other places for longer durations of time usually miss out on casting their vote, especially during the general elections or the elections to the Legislative Council, or be it the Legislative Assembly or even the local body elections. Now, to increase the voter participation, the Election Commission of India has come up with RVMs. And yesterday, there was a meeting with all the 8 national parties and many regional political parties to demonstrate the working of this RVM. So let's see some important points about this and what happened actually in the meeting yesterday. So first of all, let's see what is an RVM. Now, the Election Commission of India, as I reminded you, brought about a prototype of a remote electronic voting machine for migrant voters. The objective of the RVM is to increase voter participation. It will enable the voters to exercise their right when they are away from their native place, that is, from where they were registered as voters. So let's say I am a migrant. My native is Chennai and I am registered as a voter in Chennai, but I am in Hyderabad for my work purpose, and usually to cast my vote I need to go and cast my vote in the place where I am registered as a voter. So many a times, because of the problems of traveling, or maybe they haven't got leaves, due to some reason these migrants do not cast their vote, or they miss out on casting their vote. To get hold of this section of the population, the Election Commission of India has come up with an idea called as the RVM, and which will be deployed in places where there are a lot of migrant population, so that these people, no matter from whichever constituency they are, they can go and register their vote in that particular place. Now, this RVM has the capability of registering 72 constituencies. It means 72 migrants from different constituencies can go and register their vote in that RVM at that particular voting booth during a particular election time. So this is the intention of the RVM. With the remote voting machine, the poll panel says that the migrants will be able to exercise their franchisee. And let me remind you once again, it's developed by the Electronic Corporation of India. So basically, during the type of elections, the voter has to travel to his hometown where he is registered as a voter, and usually that does not happen. Also, he does not have the interest, he or she does not have the interest to register himself as a voter away from his native place, maybe because he is not very much affiliated to that place, or he does not have a strong bond like his native place. Due to all these reasons, and keeping in mind the numbers of migrants that we have in the country, the Election Commission of India has come about with RVMs. So let's look into a little bit detailed about the RVM. Now, what will this do? So the new RVM prototype will enable a voter who is listed in constituencies all over the country to exercise his vote from a single machine where it is placed in the place where he is working, away from his constituency. It is a multi-constituency remote EVM and can handle up to 72 constituencies from a single remote polling booth. And it is also seen as a landmark development to boost voter participation and eliminate the problems of traveling during poll time. So why was this plan? recently, in support of this idea called as RVM, the Election Commission put out the 2019 election data and said that there was only 67.4 voter turnout, and over 30 crores of electors did not exercise their voting right, the Election Commission noted. And that is why the main reason for the Election Commission to bring about this RVM was to catch hold of the missing votes, and a major, especially the migrants forming a major part of this population. So recently at the all-party meeting yesterday, as I told you, all the national parties, 8 in number, and the regional political parties had gathered in New Delhi to look at the demonstration of this RVM, meaning how it's going to work in the place of its establishment or installation. When the Election Commission of India met to discuss the RVM for migrant voters, it was met with strong opposition. None of the political parties actually supported the Election Commission in this initiative. Many political parties said that we do not want the RVM. Parties were questioning the ECI that when there is a doubt about the efficacy of the EVMs already and demand for going back to the paper ballot system, the RVMs cannot be believed upon. And many political parties like the Aam Aadmi Party also asked the ECI to come up with better ideas rather than the RVM. There were questions raised to the Election Commission that there is already a huge question on the efficacy to believe the EVM because they can be rigged. The Trinamool Congress, the Bahujan Samaj Party said that the 2017 UP elections were actually tampered and hacked, so they did not want to use EVMs in the coming elections, and many other questions were raised. Also, there were many political parties saying that rather than concentrating on this now, they should look at urban voter apathy, because the amount of the urban participants in voting is very, very less compared to the rural areas. And so political parties were asking the ECI that they should concentrate, that the commission should concentrate on the urban voter turnout. And apart from that, there is also a problem with regard to the database of the migrants. We do not have a proper database of internal migrants. We do not have still a proper definition of who constitutes an internal migrant. With all these problems and questions coming up to the ECI, the basic demonstration of the RVM did not happen. And also there are certain legal and administrative challenges also to the RVM. For example, the legal challenges are that the Representation of People Act 1950, 51 need to be amended. The Code of Election Rules 1961 need to be amended. Apart from that, the Registration of Electors Rules 1960 will have to be amended. And also there is a need to define who will be a migrant voter, because the RVMs can only be used by them and not the regular voters who can go and vote at the polling booth on the EVMs. Apart from that, there is also a need to define what does remote voting constitute actually. Then there are administrative challenges like enumerating the voters itself in that particular area, providing a controlled environment like a booth or the officers needed to enable the migrants to come and vote in that particular place, provision of polling agents, number of booths to be set up in the polling regions, appointment of polling personnel for remote polling stations, and also implementation of the model code of conduct. So see, these are some of the administrative challenges. On the technical side, it's we do not know the working of the RVM yet. The demonstration hasn't happened yesterday, and so the familiarity of the voters with the new RVM or the remote EVM and other technology hasn't been still demonstrated. A remote method of voting is not tested until now in India. And also the counting of votes cast at the remote booths and transmitting it to the RO at the located state in that booth is also a difficult issue. So finally, let's ask this question, whether remote voting is all so new to India. No, it isn't. We do have a remote voting in the form of postal ballot, but only few people are eligible to vote by postal ballot. For example, those employees who worked in the Union Armed Forces, state police forces and their spouses, those working for the Government of India who are officially posted abroad can register a postal vote, and they are called as service voters, and people in the preventive detention can also use a postal vote. Prisoners are not allowed to vote. So we do have a remote system of voting, but in the form of a postal voting. And voting remotely through use of EVMs is a very new concept. Though the initiative of the ECI and the intention behind the RVM is really appreciated, because the Election Commission of India wants to increase the voter participation, it is also a sad issue that the parties did not give the ECI to demonstrate the working of the RVM and already raise questions when the EVMs have been already used in general elections and various state legislative assembly elections. So any innovation is always welcomed, which can always be corrected. It's not being deployed already, but it's just a prototype that is being tested. I wish the political parties had given a chance to the Election Commission of India to actually test this machine, so that if it was really successful, then many migrants who have to travel back to their home state or the place where they are registered as voters would actually get a chance to participate in the voting process. So this is one sad part, but apart from that, the intention and the purpose of RVM is really a historic and appreciable act on the part of Election Commission of India, who never stops coming out with innovations to promote free and fair elections, be it the EVMs itself or even the VVPATs. So I hope this content was helpful to you all, and if you did like it, please do press the like, share and subscribe to get more updates on a daily basis. I shall see you tomorrow with another new important issue that made news that day, and until then, it's happy learning.